I was told that if I made decent grades and I went to play college football, that I would get a college degree. And
not many have, in the past, given up their 20s for the goal. From humble beginnings, to conquering his struggles, to getting riches. Stick around and pick Justin Waller's inspiring mindset on becoming rich and abundant.
I grew up in a pretty poor family, so that I quit playing baseball and basketball, and I went and played college football. And so I chose construction management. I was told it was 100% job placement, and that I would be sitting in Dallas with a truck allowance and an office making $75,000 to $100,000 a year. You know, probably starting off at like 60 and making my way to 100, having healthcare, 401k, and I didn't know any better. I went and I dug ditches for a company called Austin Bridge and Road in a small town in North Louisiana. That job ended. I came home. I waited tables at a churrascaria called Texas de Brazil in Baton Rouge. And it was really, honestly, probably the shittiest time of my life.
Tough times, yeah. But focusing on growth is what gets us there.
So when I got to 30 and I wasn't where I thought I was supposed to be, I was upset. All these big goals, millionaire by 30. Now the business was doing 2 million,
right,
3 million at the time, but it's very hard to be profitable. I had scaling issues. I should have went bankrupt so many times. I remortgaged my house a bunch of times to cut. I've never missed a payroll.
Okay.
But I've been fucking close. I've been real close.
Right.
I've had all kinds of things happen. I've had steel fall. I've had roofs leak. I've had guys get cut wide open.
Oh man.
I've had trucks stolen. I bought my own tools back from the pawn shop. You know, it's the game, you know. I took some hits. We pivoted about 4 years ago. I just stayed in the same game long enough to take that jab enough time to eventually slip it.
Right.
It's just like a fight out in the schoolyard, man. Eventually you roll on top, you better get your licks in. And that's what we did, and it worked. I found the systems and the structure that really worked for me. I got a lot of help, read a lot of books, paid for a lot of consulting. You know, I didn't pay for college because of football, but I certainly paid to learn.
So here's some tips on how to become a millionaire.
There's a million ways to make $1 million. You got to get to something. If you put your energy into something consistently, into one thing, if you stick to that thing and that thing has a explosive factor to it, I don't think you're going to be able to do it with an ice cream stand. I don't think you're going to necessarily be able to do it cutting grass unless you go really big commercial or industrial. I would choose a business model that's strong, that can make big money in big chunks. Pick the right business model and stick to it, and you'll do just fine. You'll get there. It's not a problem. There's a million ways to do that. So you're working on your fitness, you're educating yourself, you're building competencies, and the next thing you know, those competencies lead to money, and money and fitness lead to women getting in front of you because you've gotten their attention. So you absorb women, you don't chase them. You make money through skill sets, and you acquire those skill sets, and then you find ways to make money, and then money comes to you. People talk about the law of attraction. I think the law of attraction, how it's presented, is bullshit, but I do think that if you create abundance in your life in all these areas, acquiring money or the things that you want is much easier, and it can create a vacuum that comes towards you. Your mind knows whether you're ready for something like money or not, because it knows whether you've done the work or not. It knows whether you can get that girl or not. It knows whether you're ready for a promotion or taking the next step or owning your own business or doing something that's bigger than you or bigger than what you have done. So as I don't believe in the law of attraction, I do believe your mind knows when it's time based off the work that you've done. And that's why I always tell you guys that if you're scared of doing something that you want to do, then you need to go look in the mirror and find out why. That way you can go acquire the skill set needed for your mind to tell you it's time to move forward. Go work on yourself, and those things will naturally just come to you as you're working on you and you're working in the direction of it.
What should I do to get my first 100 grand? And I said to them, my friend, that is the wrong question. The right question is, how can I build a system that will spit me out 100 grand a month? When it comes to being a young man making money, I think it's more important not to focus on the money, but the system that gets him the money.
Yeah, so I tell you, my first business was cutting grass. So I started knocking doors. Dude, I ended up getting 5-6 lawns pretty quick. And my buddies noticed I wasn't showing up, and they saw I was making money. So they want to be a part of the business. So I'm like, flip a weed eater to one's going to pick up trash. My overhead got too high, went out of business. Part of me, even though I'm saying I picked the wrong model, I'm kind of glad that I went through that, because I think it made me the person I am. And the next wave is always coming. And so I'll be able to take that capital and the skill sets and maybe the maturity that you would bring into a business and be at a completely different place when the next huge opportunity comes. I'll have that with me, not because I caught a crypto pump, because I built a real business from dirt.
It's going to be hard, but you're going to get there. You can even find a way to save time getting there.
The most dangerous thing in business is what you don't know that you don't know. So don't forget that there's people out there that know more than you. So go find them and make them your mentor. because they can save you more money before they've already made the mistake.
Right.
If you go to them hat in hand, there's a list of guys all over the country. Thomas Phoenix up in New Jersey, Sean and Eric and Gary that have helped me out loads. Mike in Colorado. These guys are multi-millionaires you'll never know about. I got in an organization. I found these men. They helped me. Dylan and Tim Seiler up north in the Northeast. You know, these guys, man, like they helped me see things before those things hit me. And for that reason, I dodged a lot of punches that I probably would have took.
Picking the vehicle is, I think, one of the most important things you can do before you start use that energy capital, especially when you're a young man, you have that unicorn blood, right?
I went with passion, which was probably the wrong way.
Yes, I agree.
But I've beat a living out of it and done okay. But
It's a long grind.
It's a long grind. But at least you chose not necessarily a passion, I would say, putting up steel buildings.
No, sir, it wasn't a passion. It was what was in my consciousness. That's what I knew to do.
If I was in my 20s and a young guy, I would buy a fourplex with FHA because the loan goes up to 4 units. Yeah. Rent it out and live in that one unit just long enough to rent out my unit and move into another house. I really would. You get to keep that loan. Just tell the bank you change your mind.
After a year, you can move out with no penalty. It's a fantastic way to get yourself into a property with little money down.
The other beautiful thing about that, let's say you have a decent job, you make $50,000 and you get approved to buy this fourplex. Not only are you going to get cash flow, you're going to be able to do a cost segregation study, basically reduce the amount of taxes that you make on your W-2 job. Even if you can't cover all of your taxes, you're still going to get a tax deduction.
And so every time somebody tells me that I've changed, I say, well, I fucking hope so. So for me to go back and read the eulogy that I wrote to my grandfather at 27 has been edited 2 or 3 times now, and I'll probably look at it again now at 35, and just make sure that those things that I wrote about what will be said about me when I'm dead and my friends and family are sitting around me thinking about the man that I was, that what I'm doing today is in line with those things.
Big tip. Pick the business that will have an explosive factor to it, then take action. And don't forget to subscribe.